Hello. I'd like to start off, as I have over the last few months, just a friendly reminder that Israel must not leave the Gaza Strip until every member of Hamas is either killed or imprisoned. Furthermore, Palestinians in Gaza who knows of any Hamas members roaming the streets or in hiding must, certainly should, come forward with names and locations prior to Israel's departure, so the Israelis can do what you have wanted to do for about the last 20 years. Okay, well, today's topic. It's something refreshing seeing the United States isn't the only country in the world who loves to waste time, money, and resources. Nope. Please allow me to introduce to all of you South Africa. South Africa has or is taking up a lot of time, money, and plenty of resources to do one of the dumbest and most ignorant, moronic, and confounding attempts to wokeism ever presented to the International Justice Court and possibly in world history. South Africa has surpassed the unsurpassable, the United Nations, by allowing an Iranian to chair the Social Forum of the UN Human Rights Council. Most people didn't think anything could top that in ignorance, but congratulations, South Africa, you've done it. Now, there's a million articles on this topic, so I literally picked the first one. This is from The Spectator. Quote, "What does Iran have to teach the world about human rights? The United Nations appears to think we have plenty to learn from a pariah state which backs Hamas, arrests and beats women for failing to wear a hijab, executes protesters and hangs gay people. In Geneva, the Social Forum of the UN Human Rights Council, essentially a human rights jamboree, opens today. Its chair is Ali Bahraini, Iran's UN ambassador, who will oversee a conference discussing the contributions of science, technology, and innovation to the promotion of human rights. Iran, which has used facial recognition technology to identify dissidents, is likely to have some expertise here." End quote. For South Africa to bring Israel, to the International Court of Justice for genocide against the Palestinians is so comical to me in so many ways that if I was able personally to say it on Tom Brady's roast, I would have gotten a show on HBO. Anyways, you got to be kidding me. First off, on what planet is there grounds for genocide? What method are the Israelis using to promote genocide, you twits? What genocide was Israel committing when they left Gaza to the people living in Gaza on September 22nd, 2005? Israel has been hands-off in Gaza for the last almost 19 years. What genocide have they been committing? What genocide are they committing now? My gosh, they've been throwing fucking leaflets to the areas they're about to go into, sending texts, emails. Genocide? Fuck you. Genocide. Israel could have leveled that shithole in a week. Then I could see an argument for genocide. But you have to be a special type of stupid to think Israel is committing genocide. Quote, according to the 1948 Genocide Convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy or in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group in whole or as in part as such. That's end of quote, but none of that has happened. Currently happened or happen in the future, you Israel's trying to kill terrorists who are documented murderers and torturers. Yes, they're trying to kill them. Genocide? Where is it? This is just typical grandstanding joke. Here's the largest problem, and grab a pen, pencil, and write this the fuck down. And this is by far the main problem, that the morons at the ICJ, South Africa, protesters on campus, anyone else who wants to pile on Israel. What is never, ever, ever, never, ever brought up? Hamas. It's always innocent and helpless Palestinians that guide the comments surrounding Israel, the oppressor, of course. Hamas is never, ever brought up by the sides against Israel. Hamas is never brought up when hiding amongst the Palestinian population. Hamas is never brought up when storing vast amounts of weapons in schools, hospitals, homes. Hamas is never brought up when all the charging and all the citizens in Gaza, they charge them for, food, clothes, whatever that is, brought in free from the UNRWA trucks. And Hamas is never, and I repeat, never brought up for their atrocities on October 7th. Since no one brings up Hamas, and they can't be separately defined from any and all Palestinians, then for anyone to say that Israel is committing genocide, you must also say that Hamas does not exist. I want to hear it out of your mouths. When ISIS, the Taliban, and Al-Qaeda, whomever mingled together with civilians, and those civilians were killed, the U.S. went through this. With ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, that they were blending in with the people that live there. Okay, can you give me just a request from South Africa? Can you give me the docket number, South Africa, that you presented to the ICJ when the United States was not trying to purposely kill any of the civilians, but they were killing some, trying to get those terrorist groups. So yeah, please let me know when you filed that. And then I have a question for the assholes in South Africa who has brought up this ridiculous and frivolous motion. What would you have done? What would your response have been? Better yet, how would your country act if you saw your fellow citizens murdered, raped, tortured, beheaded, with a total of around 7,500 South Africans murdered and another 1,625 hostages taken in one day? What would South Africa's reaction be? Those numbers I just gave you are the equivalent in population percentage of what would have happened in South Africa on that day. And since we're talking about South Africa, a bastion of safety and security, let's look at your record since 2008. Talk about a country who shut the fuck up and take care of their own people before bringing up such a ridiculous claim in Israel. South African stats. I'm only going to go back the last 5 years. I was going to start from 2005 when Israel completely pulled out of Gaza. But luckily for me, South Africa is such a cesspool, 5 years is enough. Congratulations, South Africa. Since 2018, your country has had 136,244 murders. You have surpassed the United States in total murders over the last 3 years. Maybe you identify murders differently than the rest of the world, as outside of my current sentence, right now, there is no basis and under no category should the word Israel and genocide be in the same sentence. Please, South Africa, be the beacon of light that shines to the world the genocide country of Israel is committing. But only you, South Africa, has the guts to say it. Well, except your country almost leads the world in murder and murder rates. Here's a fun fact that you may not know. Or may not have known, sorry. In South Africa, to go along with their extremely high murder rate, there should be comfort in knowing that they have an extremely impressive 85% unsolved murder rate, in which 85% of the people who commit murder are not convicted. Maybe those attorneys you've sent to The Hague for this horseshit genocidal trial can help get murderers and repeat offenders off the streets. You certainly won't get the amount of publicity, but, one can hope. Also, according to the annual statistics, other serious crimes are also on the rise in South Africa. Kidnapping increased by 41.7% between 2022 and 2023. Attempted murders rose by 13.7% in 2022-23. Carjacking incidents increased by 8.5% in 2022-2023. The South African Police Service solves only 15% of murder cases, as mentioned. Housebreaking and burglary was 5.7% of total population, or 1.1 million break-ins in South Africa in 2022-2023. South Africa has the third highest crime rate in the world. South Africa has a notably high rate of assaults, rape, homicides, and other violent crimes. This has been attributed to several factors, including high levels of poverty, inequality, unemployment, and social exclusion. And the normalization of violence, South Africa has one of the highest rates in the world. More than 1 in 4 men surveyed by the South African Medical Research Council admitted to committing rape. Okay. From the NPR, quote, "It's an all too common story in South Africa, a country that in the past year has seen an average of 75 killings and 400 robberies with aggravated circumstances every day. According to official statistics, while it may be Africa's most developed country, oh my gosh, it also has one of the highest violent crime rates in the world. It's not getting better. It's getting worse," said Anton Cohn, a former police officer who now runs a private security firm that specializes in tracking and recovered hijacked and stolen vehicles. "The murder rate is the highest in 20 years. Violence is getting worse because our justice system seems to be failing us, the public of South Africa. Don't worry, South Africans. They're busy doing more important things. They'll fix their Mad Max issues when they get done wasting everyone's time in The Hague." Quote, there are more than 2.7 million registered private security officers in the country. I'm going to repeat that. There are more than 2.7 million registered private security officers in the country, according to the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, making South Africa's security industry one of the largest in the world. That compares with fewer than 150,000 police officers for the country of 62 million people. Oh my gosh. More than 580,000 private security guards are currently active and employed, more than the police and army combined, according to figures from the PSIRA. Quote, record electricity blackouts and sustained water outages have crushed businesses and caused havoc in hospitals and schools nationwide. It's common to see car-sized potholes in the suburbs of Johannesburg as workmen weld burst pipes. Traffic light outages are a daily occurrence. At this rate, someone will be chairing the social forum of UN Human Rights Council in no time from South Africa. So let me get you in on an early congratulations with that. Anyways, I could go on and on and on. Just because a country is in the toilet, like South Africa, doesn't mean that they could point out other countries' inequities, correct? Right? Okay. So genocide just doesn't happen overnight. Those mean Israelis must be torturing and murdering every Palestinian they can get their genocidal hands on. Well, according to the United Nations, the Palestinian Authority and Hamas, since 2005, those neighborhood bullies, those genocidal maniacs, those Israelis who basically gifted Gaza and left on their own accord, must be massacring Palestinians in the streets of Gaza, right, South Africa? Again, since 2005, Israel has killed 4,010 Hamas and Palestinians, and 308 Israelis have died. There was four conflicts since 2005. I've seen fatality numbers posted up to 5,365 in that same time period. So, anyways, I think the real problem with these numbers is that they're so low. There's no way a South African politician could possibly comprehend that. So, in the last 19 years, and as Israel is attempting to do their, I guess, slow roll type of genocide, Gaza has less casualties in 19 years from Israelis' hands than South Africa has done in the last 7 weeks. If the world put this much pressure on Hamas, as they always put on Israel, well, there may come a day where the Palestinians and Israelis will live in peace. It won't be easy, not anytime soon, when you have dumbass, wannabe martyr-type countries like South Africa and others effectively wasting their time and everyone else's, like the overpaid judges and staff who live for this kind of bullshit in The Hague. This case better be thrown out, and South Africa should be put on some type of probation made to pay everyone's time, cost, and punitive damages. Here's a list of names heading up this farce and who should be back in South Africa handling their own business. Well, before trying to, maybe prosecute the innocent. I'm going to butcher these names, but I'll give it a shot. John Dugard, Adila Hassim, Tembeka, last name is Ngcukitobi, Blin Nai Grale, and Von Lowe. Israel being brought up against Hamas for genocide. You can go f*** yourself.